Welcome to the Neon Noise Podcast, your home for learning ways to attract more traffic to your website, generate more leads, convert more leads into customers, and build stronger relationships with your customers. And now, your hosts, Justin Johnson and Ken Franzen.
Hey, Neon Noise listeners. Welcome to the Neon Noise Podcast, where we decode marketing and sales topics to help you grow your business. This is Justin, and with me, I have my co-host, Ken. Hey, Ken, how's it going today?
It's going fantastic. How are you?
It is going great. I'm super excited about our show today. Our featured guest, John Lee Dumas, also referred to as JLD, is the host of EOFire, an award-winning podcast where he interviews today's most successful entrepreneurs. JLD has grown EOFire into a multi-million-dollar a year business with over 1,500 interviews and 1.5 million monthly listeners. He is the author of the Freedom Journal, the Mastery Journal, two of the most funded publishing campaigns on Kickstarter. These are just some amazing numbers. Without further ado, let's chat with today's featured guest, JLD. I've been waiting to do this. I want to know if you are ready to ignite.
Let's burn this place to the ground, boys.
Burn it to the ground. JLD, tell us a little bit about yourself and fill in the blanks on anything I missed.
Well, you guys did a great job. You know, basically, I'm just a country boy from the state of Maine. Went to college on an Army ROTC scholarship. So did a 13-month tour of duty in Iraq post-college during my 4-year active duty stint. And then just spent the rest of my 20s failing, trying law school, corporate finance, commercial real estate, fail. Not being happy either, by the way. So both failing and being unhappy in my late 20s is a bad combination. So I started listening and learning to a lot of great books, you know, via audio books and the reading of, and learning a lot. And finally, being clued into podcasting, and this free, on-demand, targeted form of media really just struck a chord with me. And after a couple of years of listening, I said, hey, I can do this, and decided to create the show that I thought should exist but didn't, which was a daily show interviewing the world's most successful entrepreneurs. And you and I are talking now almost 5 years later, over 46 million listens to date later, over 1.5 million monthly listens. And we've turned the business of podcasting into a multi-million-dollar a year business. So it's been quite the journey, a lot of fun, and I'm excited to chat more today.
Awesome.
That's an amazing story. One of the things that you've recently launched here is the Mastery Journal, and it is got some focus on productivity. And I'm interested to learn more about, because you have a lot of going on, a lot of let's say balls in the air. How do you approach being productive? Excuse me. And how do you get the most out of your day? How do you accomplish your goals?
So honestly, the Mastery Journal is me downloading all of the knowledge that I've acquired over the years on being productive, disciplined, and focused on an intraday basis. You know, all the lessons I've learned, all the mistakes and failures that I've personally encountered trying to accomplish this very elusive, productive, disciplined, and focused approach. But, you know, as I sit here in 2017, I've mastered these 3 skills, and I continue to work on them, of course, but I wanted to create a journal that would show others what I've learned and how they could maybe start mastering these skills themselves. And so for me, in a nutshell, the reason why the Mastery Journal is very special is because it holds your feet to the fire using proven methods. We're talking the Pomodoro technique. We're talking Parkinson's law. We're talking the Pareto principles, like using these great past studies and just analysis and applying them to us on a day-to-day basis. And so in a nutshell, within the Mastery Journal, there's a lot to it, but the core of the Mastery Journal is every day you're going to have 4 focus sessions, which you're going to choose how much time each session will be depending on what task you're going to focus on. But during that one focus session, you're going to have one task. You're going to start a timer. You're going to press go on that timer, and then you're going to focus on nothing else for the rest of that time period. You're going to have your cell phone in airplane mode. You're going to have any notifications, flashing, beepings. Everything's off. There's nothing but you and that one task, which you will complete in that time allotted. And then an important factor after that, by the way, is you have a refresh time where, that's the kind of carrot that you've been dangling in front of you where, oh my God, it's so hard to focus for 40 minutes. I want to just stop real quick and check Facebook. Well, stop, because you will, but not until your refresh time, and make yourself be held accountable to that. And you'll win, frankly. I mean, again, this is me having created this over 5 years. Over 5,000 people are now consistently using the Mastery Journal on a daily basis and just seeing massive strides in what they're accomplishing in their life. So it's a system, it's a guide, and it's meant to be difficult, and it is, but it also produces outstanding results.
Awesome. So what type of individual does the Mastery Journal best serve? If is it fitting to a certain type of person in a certain industry or a certain job type? Who does it best fit?
An individual that can honestly look themselves in the mirror and say, you know what? I could improve upon my productivity. And by productivity, that means the content that you are producing throughout the day, is that actually meaningful to your business and life? I mean, we can all be productive doing the wrong things, but are you being productive doing the right things? And that's an honest question only you can answer.
Yeah.
Number two, someone that feels like they're lacking a little discipline. Like, I love to break that word discipline down into the word disciple. Like, are you being a disciple to a plan of action that you've set and you will execute upon? If the answer is no, you need some help on discipline. And then finally, focus. Follow one course until success. That's the acronym for focus. Are you able to do that? Or are you a scatterbrain? Are you a flippity gibbet who's just jumping from one task to another, never completing anything? Likely you're in one, two, or all three of those. I know that I was at one point in my life, and I know most people are. And if you find yourself in one, two, or all three of those scenarios, it's time for the Mastery Journal.
Awesome. So I'm curious, how do you go about planning for each one of your days? What does your day look like in detail? Are you an early riser? Are you I'm a bit of a night owl myself, and my children get me up early in the morning. But what does your day look like each and every day? How do you plan for your day?
Well, number one, the Mastery Journal, we have a section at the end that's called Win Tomorrow Today. And this is a really important section because you need to set your morning routine up the night before. Because if you don't, you're setting yourself up to fail. Because, hey, we all wake up the same way. A little groggy, a little tired, wanting to roll back over in bed. I don't care who tells you they wake up, jumping out of bed, doing, they're lying, frankly. That's just, that person doesn't exist. I mean, they're kidding themselves and they're trying to kid you as well. It just doesn't happen. We all wake up tired, cold, groggy, like whatever, fill in all the blanks. And if you then have to actually turn your brain on to think about what your next few tasks should be, you'll fail, because that's not the time to do that. The time to do that is, the night before. And when you set that task up, that morning routine task list up, then you wake up, you can mindlessly follow that morning routine and crush it. It's like when I wake up in the morning, it's still dark and I'm stumbling down to my gym because I know that the first thing on my list is a 20-minute row on my rowing machine. And I'm doing that without a second thought because I wrote it the night before that was the first task that I was doing. Then I move into the next, parts of my exercise regimen in the morning. Then it's showering, and then it's meditating, and then it's reading a business book for 20 minutes, and then it's journaling. And then and only then am I actually turning to my first task of the day. And by the way, I have not done emails or social media or anything of the above yet. I will, because it's a necessary part of my day. But I believe in using the best part of my day, which is post-exercise, post-shower and breakfast, post-meditation and journaling. That next period of my day is the best part of my day. Why would I use that period of my day on OPA, which is other people's agenda? It'd be a huge mistake. I need to use that part of my day for what's going to make my business and life the best. And so I do that. And, frankly, you said that you're a night owl. My response to that is, if you say you are, you are. But if you say you're a morning bird as well, you can be that too. It's a total decision on your part. And maybe being a night owl works for you. Frankly, if your kids are going to be up early in the morning as well, I would say it doesn't, because I think that 8 hours is a minimum amount of sleep that a human needs to really be at their A-level game. But to each his own. And I just think that a lot of times we label ourselves without even realizing we're doing it. It can oftentimes be a mistake.
Oh, I believe you me. I wish I could find myself to get up, and I know it's a label. I know it's something that I could definitely.
Well, that's my thing. You wish, but you can. It's just a matter of doing it.
Sure.
Ken, when's the last time you got 8 hours of sleep?
It's been a long time. It's been a very long time. And I understand clear minds or rested minds are clear minds and focused minds.
Right.
So
I love that routine.
Yeah. And hey, it didn't come, naturally. I mean, it's been something that I've been refining over the years. A lot of people that say like, I don't really consider people that have kids in the same scenario because that's just a whole different ballgame that
exactly
you completely have to, play for. I mean, it's just the reality of life. But a lot of people that come to me that don't necessarily have kids or, a lot of responsibilities will say, John, I'll just never be an early bird. And I'm like, there's like, because I can't go to sleep early enough at night. Like I'm not tired at 9 a.m. Or 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. And I'm like, well, wake up at 4:30 a.m. for the next 60 days, and you tell me how tired you are at 9 a.m. At 9 p.m. And guess what? You'll be pretty tired.
You'll figure it out.
And you'll be falling asleep, and you'll be getting 8 hours of sleep, and you'll all of a sudden be a morning person. And guess what? I'm not trying to force the idea that being a morning person is the cure-all, be-all, because it's not. It's what works for you. I know what works for me is being a morning person, so I set myself up and my life up for success in those areas.
Very cool.
So what metrics do you use to measure success? How do you quantify that your day was successful? You have this morning routine that sounds like it's pretty much a staple. Every morning has a very similar routine, and then you get to it. What are you using to measure? How are you determining what is a successful day?
My 4 focus sessions. I look back at the end of every day and I say, what did I accomplish during my 4 focus sessions within the Mastery Journal? And some days I look back and say, not enough. And I grade myself accordingly because part of being the Mastery Journal is you self-evaluate yourself. And sometimes I say, wow, I knocked it out of the park. And then again, I evaluate myself accordingly. So I look back at my 4 major sessions that I do throughout the day and say, did I utilize those best to move my business and life forward? And sometimes those focus sessions might be actually writing a chapter in my book, or sometimes it might be, going, outside and finally, or going out to my garage and finally tidying up, the mess that's out there for 45 minutes. And that's a success as well. So, it's all on your metrics. But what's great about the Mastery Journal is that you should be able to look back every single day at the ends, and you will, by the way, if you follow the system, and see 4 very meaningful tasks that you've accomplished that day.
Now, each one of these sessions, if I get this right, the duration's approximately how long?
There's no set durations. It's all on you. And that's one thing that I take a lot of care at the beginning of the Mastery Journal to guide and teach, to say, hey, number one, you alone know how long each one of these focus sessions should take approximately. And you'll get better with time at estimating how long that should take. But, I know that if I am going down to quote unquote tidy up my garage, that I should be able to knock that out in about 30 minutes. So that might be the focus session is 30 minutes. But then if I am coming back and I'm looking to, write 2 chapters in my book for my next focus session, that might take 60 minutes. And I know that. So then my next focus session will be 60. So it's really important to be to be able to self-evaluate yourself. And that's one tool and skill that I really try to teach and impress upon people throughout the Mastery Journal is, hey, like as much as you might want me holding your hand and walking you every step of the way and telling you there's a perfect minute for every focus session and exactly what to do during your refresh sessions, I'm not going to be there. It's time to start being self-reliant and do your thing. And you're not going to hit a home run the first time or the 10th time, but you're going to get better every single day.
Sure. So if I'm getting this right, then there's 4 sessions and I'm looking at the average American workday being the traditional 8 hours. Most of my sessions, if I was going to break my day down and I converted myself into an early riser, got up and did my morning routine, and I began the actions, email and the other people's agendas, so to speak. I have 4 core sessions that come into play. I would probably have to average those out at about 2 hours, I guess, if I was going to fill my traditional 8-hour workday, correct?
Yeah, but I think that would be a mistake. And that's one thing that I talk about in the Mastery Journal leading up to you actually starting it is like these focus sessions are meant to be powerful, not traditional. Like there's a reason why we got herded into the mentality of 8-hour work days, because back in the Industrial Revolution, which we won't get into, believe me, but we had to clock in and clock out at a certain time because everybody had a job to do. And so we just now fill these 8 hours mostly with nothingness. But the Mastery Journal gives you back those 8 hours and says, hey, how can I, in just 4 sessions of, by the way, maybe just 45 minutes each. So you might be talking, about 3 hours of real work. And people say, well, what do I do the rest of my day? How about live life? Like, how about do something that you want to do? Like, because now you've just done in 3 hours what used to take you all day and probably, frankly, all week, because you're actually focusing now on meaningful and diligent tasks. So, live life. Like, it's 2017. Like, we're not building Model Ts for Henry Ford in 1904 right now.
Sure. Now, you've interviewed, we said over 1,500 in the intro, and I know it's more than that to date, but entrepreneurs, daily podcast, new entrepreneur on, I know that you've had some that came on more than once, but you've talked to quite a few successful entrepreneurs over the last couple of years. What do you find, what commonalities do you find in the individuals that you talk to? Are there any common denominators that they share?
Hard work is one that's always present in every successful entrepreneur that I found. There's just no shortcut for that. Number 2 is the ability to set and accomplish goals. And that was actually the inspiration for me creating the Freedom Journal, which was my first journal that I wrote back in 2015 and then launched on Kickstarter back in 2016, which is accomplish your number 1 goal in 100 days, because that's what I saw people were lacking. So for me, it's the hard work combined with setting and accomplishing of meaningful goals that actually matter. And then number 3, building and nurturing meaningful relationships. That's what I've seen has really been the ingredients of success for entrepreneurs in 2017.
Now, you had talked about setting goals, accomplishing goals, and you made mention of the Freedom Journal, which is focused on 100 days on accomplishing your number 1 goal. And this kind of goes hand in hand, I guess, with also the Mastery Journal. There comes times when you're going through your day and things don't go as planned. What do you do, these pitfalls that pop up, what do you do to try to avoid them? Or what, when they do happen, how do you overcome? Because I know so many can have a bad day and make that compound into a second bad day, or get them off track on their goals, or being productive. So what do you do, or what advice can you provide in getting back on track when you hit a bump in the road?
Well, first off, chill out. I mean, you're a human being. Like, you're going to make mistakes and you're going to hit bumps in the road and you're going to be on this roller coaster. I mean, frankly, and many people don't believe this, but it is true. Like, life is about the ups and the downs. If we just had this straight up and to the right success, it'd be boring, because there'd be no reason to celebrate wins, because everything would just be a win on a minor level going up, up, and up. So just chill out, recognize you're a human being. And now that's, one reason why I've implemented not just the 4 focus sessions, but right on the heels of these focus sessions are the mandatory refresh sessions, where you're just meant to relax and chill out and sit down, with a fiction novel, or go for a quick walk outside, or, go play with your dog or your kid for, 15 or 20 minutes. Cause, I know there's a lot of times that people will pick their head up at the end of the day and they'll be like, wow, like, I haven't even been outside one time, or, I haven't even, gone to the next room where my 3-month-old is sleeping, and, picked him up and held him. And like, that's things you should be doing throughout the day. And you will, when you take these refresh times, and that will allow you to reflect and to realize that, man, like, maybe I got a little bit derailed here, but let's come back stronger with the next session. And you just learn from it, you relax, and you drive forward.
That sounds like my day. Too often.
Sure.
2:30 rolls around and lunch hasn't even happened yet.
Exactly.
You're not following the Mastery Journal.
I have it now.
Yeah.
Right now, do you see 2015, you had the Freedom Journal launch. just recently the Mastery Journal launched. What's next for you? What do you have on the horizon? I know that on your website, EOFire.com, you have a lot of great courses that you provide for free on several different topics. What's next for you? What do you have on the horizon?
So I'm writing my first traditionally published book, which I'm pretty excited about because, again, I'm on a journey, making a ton of mistakes, having a lot of frustrating days, but I keep, sticking and going back to and utilizing the Mastery Journal to keep moving forward because, frankly, again, like I'm a believer in the process that I was able to create through this. And for me, over the last 5 years, I've gotten thousands of emails that have, said some variation of, John, like I'm tired of losing, or I'm afraid to lose, or I don't want to lose. And I kept hearing this word lose all over the place. And finally, I kind of just had this aha moment one day when I was on a run and I said, it's not about how not to lose, which is what everybody seems to think it's all about. Because I lose every single day. Like I lose every single day. And on those rare days that go by in a row that I'm not losing, I actually reprimand myself because I'm like, man, if I'm not losing, I'm not pushing the envelope. I'm not trying hard enough. What's your problem? Like get out of the comfort zone, JLD. And so I lose all the time. And I talk about those losses very openly on my monthly income reports, et cetera, et cetera. And so it just kind of hit me that, everybody's mindset's just screwed up here. It's not about how not to lose. It's about how to finally win, and that win being singular. It's about how to win. And my win, singular, my one win back in 2012 was launching EOFire, and all the success and the millions of dollars that I've made since then has come from that one single win of launching EOFire. So I want to bring that to other people and just say, listen, it's not about how not to lose. And that's why the title of the book, as I've just mentioned, is How to Finally Win. That's what it's all about. And the tagline is create your dream life one step at a time. So every chapter is taking you on that next step in your journey of creating that dream life, starting with that one singular win, which can be that domino that once you knock it over, now you've started that chain reaction of awesome. So that's what I'm focused on. It's not an easy journey. As I said, I lose and have struggles and frustrations daily with it, but I keep bouncing back.
That's pretty exciting to look forward to. Is there an ETA on when this might come?
I think in September of 2017, so sometime Q3 of this year. But again, I'm going to keep this book, behind the wall, so to speak, until it's ready. So I'm not gonna rush or force a launch, and we'll see what happens. But I'm thinking sometime around September.
Looking forward to it. Now, you made mention about your income reports, and you're pretty transparent about the revenue and the expenditures of your business right on your website. And again, much like the traditional 8-hour work week we're all ingrained into, talking about how much money we make or our finances is it's a taboo topic, let's say. And so you take a different route. And I always was curious why you chose to share your numbers on your website.
Well, I think it's sad that it's a taboo subject, and I think it's really an outdated mindset, just like the Industrial Revolution and the 8-hour workday is an outdated concept. Because, listen, if we're looking to build our dream business, if we're looking to build a brand that people can know, like, and trust, like, why are we hiding the most important part of most businesses, which is generating revenue? Because, we can all say oh, it's not all about the money, and it's not. But let's be honest, if you can't make some money in your business, you're not going to be able to keep creating that content. I'm not going to be able to keep creating free courses and, $39 journals that can really change somebody's life. Like, I wouldn't be able to keep doing it. So I feel an obligation to make money, and I feel other people should as well, because if I'm able to keep generating revenue, then I'm going to be able to keep creating great content. A lot of it is completely free, like my daily podcast and the free courses that you mentioned as well. So why is it taboo? Sharing how we make our money and how much we make, et cetera, because it can now help people make educated decisions about what they want to do. To me, the worst thing about the online entrepreneurs of old, were that they were just all smoke and mirrors. And I'm not saying everybody was, but I'm saying there just were people that were, renting a Ferrari and driving it, in front of a house, and then doing a quick video and saying, look at my house, look at my Ferrari, and then getting chased out of that, by the actual owner, driving the Ferrari back, to the lot, having their check bounce from that rental of Ferrari and then putting it up on YouTube and saying, you should follow me because I'm successful. But, I wanted to say, hey, this is how I'm actually making money. And here's my CPA that's joining me today to prove it and to validate it, and my lawyer who's going to give you some great tips on legal. So you don't forget to dot an I and cross a T that could bring your business down. Like, let's just bring it out into the open, because guess what? Being an entrepreneur may not be for you. Not everybody should be an entrepreneur. Not everybody should be a number one. Maybe you were meant to be a number 2 or 7 or 10. And guess what? As Gary Vaynerchuk loves to say, number 37 at Facebook's not doing too bad right now. And that's okay. And so, let's just bring it all out in the open so people stop making these life-changing decisions on very limited to no knowledge.
Sure. So I know we're running close to a lot of time, and I wanted to just ask, was there anything that you'd like to share with our audience we haven't touched on?
No, I think you guys have been asking great questions, and I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity to talk, candidly about some of my passions, which are the Mastery and the Freedom Journal and my upcoming book. And, for me, I like to approach these shows where just saying, hey, the host is in control, and I want to give as much value along the questions and kind of topics that they want to talk about. And, if the audience wants to find out more about me, of course, they can check out EOFire.com. But besides that, it's been a fun chat.
Thanks,
awesome.
JLD.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, that's a wrap for today. Great show. I don't know about you guys, but I am super pumped and ready to go out and start focusing more and more on getting stuff done. I hope that everybody enjoyed our conversation today with JLD. Super exciting having you on the show. We will post links to the awesome resources that JLD mentioned on the show today in the show notes at neongoldfish.com/podcast. Until next time, this is Justin, Ken, and JLD. Go out and start crushing it. We will see you again next week.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Neon Noise Podcast. Did you enjoy the podcast? If so, please subscribe, share with a friend, or write a review. We want to cover the topics you want to hear. If you have an idea for a topic you'd like Justin and Ken to cover, connect with us on Twitter at Neon Goldfish or through our website at neongoldfish.com.